Buckle up, my friend, because I've got 8 MLB picks for you for June 11th. And one of them is rated 5 stars out of 5, which means it is a premium play. Now let's start by recapping yesterday's action. I shared 5 plays with you and they posted a 2-3 record. So a person risking $100 lost $107 yesterday. But remember that on Monday, we obtained a gain of $132. So far this week, we have racked up a gain of $25. So that's a quarter of a unit, so nothing to write home about. So let's crush the bookies today. Now, before we get moving, let me tell you what the lobster bet was yesterday. So it concerned a player prop bet. I really liked Mitch Spence from the Athletics to record over 3.5 strikeouts. He finished with a total of 4 punch-outs, so we got the victory once again. So this means that across the past 17 lobster bets, you can see the column here full of ones, which indicates a win, whereas a 0 means it's a loss. So we've had a 15-2 record across the past 17 lobster bets. And since I started this new concept of sharing my best wager across all sports, we have racked up 38 wins versus 11 losses, so we are completely destroying the bookies with the lobster bets. All right, let's get started with today's action. And in the first one, in the early afternoon game, I'm taking the Marlins to pull off the upset in Pittsburgh. To me, this is a matter of the line being too high. As you can see on your screen, some typical odds right now are plus 130 or 2.30 in decimal, and I would not be surprised if the line shrinks before the game starts because this is just too high. I've decided to grade it 3 stars out of 5. Well, we have equally matched teams, and I'm not fully convinced that Pittsburgh has that big of an edge in terms of the pitching duel. As stated in a previous video, Bailey Falter has good season numbers, but I believe that he will regress based on his first 4 seasons. I'm not buying his early season success. And by the way, he did show some signs of weaknesses in his last outing by giving up 4 earned runs in less than 4 innings of work. Also, getting 43 strikeouts versus 24 walks in close to 70 innings pitched is not very good at all. Meanwhile, I have never been a fan of Cal Quantrill, but I've got to give him some credit. He has allowed 3 runs or fewer in 6 consecutive outings. And during this stretch, he has posted a quality 3.25 ERA. Now, can he slow down Pittsburgh's offense? Well, of course he can. Remember that Pittsburgh has scored the second fewest runs in the entire big leagues this season. So to me, this could be an ugly game. It could go either way. So why not go with the underdog and its enticing odds? So I'm going to side with the Miami Marlins. That's my first pick of the day. Up next, I would like to formulate a pick on the Cincinnati-Cleveland game, and this is a premium pick rated 5 stars. I am taking the over for the first half of this match. More precisely, I'm taking over 4.5 runs to be scored in the first 5 innings of the Reds-Guardians game. In this case, Nick Lodolo is having an up and down season. I expect Cleveland's offense to bounce back after getting shut out yesterday by Andrew Abbott, who has been superb this season. Now, Logan Allen has been bad in all 3 of his seasons in the big leagues. Remember that the league average in terms of the whip stat is 1.30. Now let's take a look at Allen's whip stat during his first 3 seasons in MLB. 1.40, 1.58, and 1.58 again this year. So I am expecting some fireworks early in the game after a boring 1-0 affair yesterday. So that's my second pick. Up next, I am taking the St. Louis Cardinals to win straight up against the Blue Jays, even though Toronto has been quite hot recently. In fact, this is a 4-star play, which means it is a great pick. It was close from being viewed as a premium pick that I would have shared at mjpicks.com. Well, teams facing a sweep at home tend to do well. So that's one of the reasons why I like St. Louis in this spot. They remain a good team despite their current 3-game losing skid. They've also fared very well at home this year, and they are sending a very reliable starting hurler, Matthew Liberatore. The 25-year-old has improved his whip stat in each of his first 4 seasons in the big league. In 2022, his whip stat was ugly, 1.73. Then it dropped to 1.48, and then 1.27 last year, and this year it sits at a pretty 1.13. Now I know he's coming off a poor outing, but I think he will rebound. His home ERA since 2023 is 3.82 versus 5.10 on the road, so that's a big difference. And of course, he's playing at home today. Now on the other side, Spencer Turnbull and Eric Lauer will play a role for the Jays, but to me, I'm not very scared about any of them. I feel like the Cardinals will break out with a win today. So that's my third selection. Now up next, I do have a pick on the Seattle-Arizona game. And by the way, my lobster bet today has already been released and it concerns this game, but this is not the one that I'm about to share. Now, if you ask me to bet on the money line, I prefer to side with the Mariners, and this is viewed as a 2-star play. Well, right now, Seattle is in the midst of a free fall, having won just 4 of their last 16 contests overall. Now, after leading their division for a while, they are now behind Houston by 3 games. So they've got to wake up now. Now, just like the St. Louis Cardinals, they are facing a sweep. Although in this case, it's not a home sweep, but I still have a tendency to side with teams that are facing a sweep. Of course, I don't do it all the time. I need more supporting arguments before I pull the trigger on a specific team. But here in this case, Bryan Woo is in much better form than Eduardo Rodriguez. The latter was awful last year with a 5.04 ERA, and he's been even worse this year via a 6.70 ERA thus far in the 2025 campaign. That's a huge difference with Bryan Woo's numbers. Last season, he posted a 2.89 ERA, and so far this year, he's been pretty good with a 3.07 ERA. Now, granted, Woo has given up 4 long balls across his past 2 starts, so that's one of the reasons why I'm being cautious, and also I'm wary of Arizona's offense, which can be great at times. But still, overall, I tend to go with the Mariners in this contest. Now, let's take a very short break to listen to a video testimonial that was sent to me by one of my longtime followers. Enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Helder. I'm from Fresno, California, and I just wanted to say I've been following Professor MJ for over 4 years. Each and every year for the last 4 years, I've made several thousands of dollars just following and just betting his picks. But recently, he added a new component, the lobster picks, which are insane. They're like 33-9 over the last 40-some days. I just want to tell you, if you have an opportunity and you want to invest, literally invest in sports handicapping, this is the guy. He's honest, he's genuine, he's a family man. I love to hear his videos, watch his YouTube. I read everything he puts out. I buy all his content, his Super Bowl picks, his baseball win-losses for the year, his over-under totals for wins for NFL. I consume every bit of information he provides. He's honest, he's genuine, he works hard, he cares. He literally wants you to win. He's side by side with you. And I'm just here to say, if you want to crush your local bookies or the online processes that are there, or like me, I fly to Vegas 3 or 4 times a year just to cash those tickets. Thank you again for everything, MJ. Go, MJ.
Thanks, Helder, for the nice testimonial. I appreciate it a lot. All right, we have 4 more MLB predictions to look at, so let's get started. And now we have a couple of teams that fit under a betting system called the Blowout #1, whose rules are very simple. Bet a team that won its previous game by a margin of 8+ runs if they are facing the same opponent today. Now, for this reason, I like the San Diego Padres to get the W against the Dodgers. Yesterday, San Diego prevailed by an 11-1 score, so they won by a 10-run margin, and now they are facing the same opponent again. So by following the rules of the Blowout #1 strategy, I am betting the Padres to get the W over the Dodgers. Now, this system has had mitigated success in recent years, and also it yields too many picks per day for my taste. So I'm not a huge fan of this system. So among the 19 that I have developed, it may be in the bottom 6 or 7. But still, I listen to its advice, and sometimes I do make a pick that's supported by the Blowout #1 strategy. But I don't follow it blindly at all. Now, both starters are hard to trust, so why not go for the home underdog and its corresponding enticing and positive odds? San Diego is 11-7 since May 23rd, whereas the Dodgers have played 500 ball for a while. More precisely, they have posted an 11-13 record since May 16, which is very ordinary. So in this case, I am siding with the Padres at +125 odds at home. So that represents some good value to me, although as you can see, it is graded 1 star out of 5. Again, remember that all picks shared on my YouTube channel are picks that are viewed as being worth betting. But if it's graded 1 star, it doesn't mean it's a crappy pick. It means it has an expected positive value of around +1%, which is minimal. Up next, I also like the Boston Red Sox to win over Tampa Bay at -110 odds, and this pick is rated 3 stars out of 5. So far, we've had 2 tight games between these 2 AL East rivals. Tampa won the first game by a 10-8 score in extra innings, while Boston struck back with a 3-1 victory yesterday. Now, Walker Buehler gets the nod for Boston. He has given up exactly 5 earned runs in each of his past 2 outings, but somehow I still expect him to do well today. And here is why. Well, first of all, one of those poor outings recently was at the New York Yankees, which is obviously a very tough task. Next, Buehler is coming off a short outing. He made just 67 pitches in his last start, so he will be well rested today. Also, Buehler has been much better at home than on the road this year. Let's take a look at his numbers. At Fenway Park, his ERA has been 3.16 versus 7.43 away from home. Now, Zack Littell is a tough customer, but Boston's offense is well and alive. If you focus on their past 6 matches, they have scored an average of 8.2 runs per game. So that's all the reasons explaining my pick on the Boston Red Sox to get the W over Tampa Bay today, and that's also my pick number 6. So as I said earlier, I'm going to share 8, so we have 2 more to go. And now we have another team that qualifies under the Blowout #1 betting angle. Can you guess which team it is? Remember that you're looking for a team that won by a margin of at least 8 runs in the previous day against the same opponent. Can you guess which team fits that description? That's right, the New York Yankees, who will be playing at Kansas City today. The money line is around minus 120, which is the same as 1.83 in decimal. And this play receives a 3-star grade, which means it has an expected value of maybe plus 3%. All right, so what are some arguments supporting this play outside of the fact that it fits under the blowout number 1 system? Well, we obviously have a huge mismatch in terms of the offense. So far this season, the Yankees have scored the 3rd most runs in the big leagues, whereas the Royals have scored the 3rd fewest runs in the big leagues. But KC does hold a big advantage on the mound. Kris Bubic has been nothing short of spectacular this year, but his 2nd worst outing of the season came against the Bronx Bombers on April 16th. Also, the Royals have been struggling lately as they are in a current 10-17 drought. I also like how Clark Schmidt responded 7 days ago versus Cleveland. He squandered 3 runs in the initial frame before allowing nothing for the next 4 2/3 innings. And that included 8 punch-outs. So he's going to carry some momentum heading into this match, and I like the Yankees to win. Even though they are facing a tough pitcher, but yesterday they destroyed Noah Cameron, who was also having a great 2025 season, so why not do it for a 2nd consecutive day? So that's pick number 7. And now we have one more to go, and it concerns the San Francisco-Colorado matchup. I'm taking over 5 runs in the first 5 innings at minus 115 odds, or 1.87 in decimal. Depending on your bookie, you may have to settle for over 5.5 runs with positive odds. This play receives a 1-star grade, so it is slightly worth betting, but maybe it has a ROI around plus 1% only. Now, this feels like a scary bet since Robbie Ray takes the mound and is enjoying a good 2025 season. His current ERA is 2.44, and he also owns an 8-1 record. But I am not yet fully convinced that he will continue being that great and continue performing at such a high rate. And also, he's pitching in the hitter-friendly Coors Field, which is not always easy, of course. Sorry. Now, he will be facing Kyle Freeland, whose home ERA this year is 7.71 versus 3.64 on the road, so big difference. Granted, Freeland has fared better in his past two appearances on the mound, but both of them occurred away from home, and now he is stuck pitching at Coors Field again. So that's my 8th pick of the day. And I would like to say a few more words about the premium picks that you can grab at mjpicks.com. So we're talking about plays that are rated 5 stars only. You can see the performance from the past 7 weeks. We've been crushing it. I showed this table to you yesterday. And I want to show you something else. Let me share my screen. So during the entire season, here are all the MLB picks that I've shared, the premium picks rated 5 stars on sides and totals. We have obtained 79 wins, 58 losses, and 2 ties. So that's a 58% success rate. And if you take into account the odds from each bet, we have obtained a 5.65 unit profit. So this means a person risking $100 obtained a profit of $565, and that's a ROI of 4.1%. Now, if you switch to the MLB prop bets, we have also obtained a gain around 5 units. So we have accumulated 52 wins versus 40 losses. And again, if you take into account the odds from each recommended wager, we collected a 4.59 unit profit. So that's a 5% ROI. So we've done very well on both types of bet. So if you're interested to crush your bookies, sign up at mjpicks.com for the premium plays. So as usual, I'm taking a break from MLB picks on Thursday. I'll be back on Friday with more MLB predictions for you. I'm Professor MJ from Quebec City in Canada. I'll see you again on Friday. Thanks very much for watching, my friend.